This week on Hope City Overtime, we talk about the book of Joshua, we talk about what it looks like to step into a new season, and Pastor John makes a surprise appearance. So make sure you like, subscribe. Let's get it. Welcome to Hope City Overtime, a weekly podcast where we take a little more time to dive into Sunday's message. And we are here fresh back from staff retreat. We gave Pastor John the afternoon off. Whether he wanted it or not, we got 4 seats. And I'm just really excited about everything that God's doing at Hope City and everything we believe he's leading us to in the next season. We're also coming off a really cool Sunday because if you weren't in the room at either North or West, you may not know, but this week, because we were away on staff retreat, we had some people from within the congregation step up and deliver a word on Sunday. So I just want to shout out Tony, Harrison, and Omar. Yeah. You guys killed it.
Good job.
Well done. Yeah, we're clapping for you. We appreciate you stepping up, handling the word carefully and with authority. It was just a great Sunday all around. But it does make it a little challenging to do a podcast because depending on what service you were in, we all heard from Joshua 1, but they were a little bit different. So I just kind of want to ask the question for each one of you who got to sit and just take in the message. None of us preached on Sunday. What's something the Holy Spirit spoke to you through one of the sermons that you heard on Sunday?
Well, I was fortunate because in our service, we got to hear a prophetic word about just how the promised land is stationed in the West. And
oh my gosh, I didn't realize where you were going with that. And I was like,
I knew right away.
It was
He
good.
gets super serious when he's about to say something dumb.
We're side by side. Oh, good Lord.
We're using, that's actually rage bait.
I'm just being me. I could only base it off of West because I was there for both 9 and 11. And I don't know, I always get blessed hearing Omar because he just there's a tenderness that he brings. He does have this nurturing tone to him. He doesn't try to be anything else than what he is, and I love the sensitivity and the humility that he kind of talks and carries himself in. So just to hear his heart for us to truly be strong, which in many ways is us operating in faith, and the courageous part is the obedience that we have to walk in as well. He just communicated well the story and the history of what Joshua had to go through, the challenges that the people had to go through, and yeah, I mean I appreciated just the time, the effort that he put into it, and how he communicated it. So it was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yesterday I was at West, and one of the cool things about Omar is that Omar serves on our youth team. Mm-hmm. And so much of that came
Don't they call
out
him
of him.
Gomar?
They actually call him Goat Mar.
Goat
and I was,
that makes more sense. That's a cooler nickname.
Any second that Omar steps on the stage, it just erupts. He could be doing nothing and the kids just go insane.
That's true. When he showed up at Sunday at the park, this is how I know this. Yeah. Because I happened to be standing by the road when he walked up and suddenly everyone was screaming.
These kids, they just...
Omar just got here.
Yeah, they just erupt. I don't know. That could be you too if you too decide to join youth ministry.
Such a good recruiter.
But what's so cool about Omar, and I believe everybody that spoke this past Sunday at all of our expressions have had seasons of ministry. And I think that they all had such a beautiful picture of just that ministry is how in which you live your life. Mm-hmm. Omar is an incredible representation of just someone who's walked it, someone who's humble. The humility just seeped out of him. So there are a couple things I wrote down that I was like, dang, that's good, that I can't remember right now.
So they stuck with you?
They definitely stuck with me, but I also have a toddler.
This is why we can't be frustrated when we preach and it's Monday and people are like, what did you say?
I just have to go back to the secret place to remember.
That's why you take notes.
Yeah. But this picture of him and Corliss on the dance floor and the analogy of us and that being our trust with the Lord, like we don't know the steps. We're uncomfortable with doing the dance, and all the while Lord saying, I've got you. I've got you. Was just so well done. So yeah, I want to go back and look at both of our speakers from North. Harrison's one of my dear friends from high school. So excited to hear everything that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. We got both of them. We had both Harrison and Tony. They were both incredible. Had a great time with both of them. Something Tony said that stuck out to me probably more than anything. He pointed out like taking nuggets from things. And funny enough, it's almost it really doesn't even have anything to do with the sermon as an overall. But he did bring up kind of at the beginning, as actually what I closed service with too, was about like how the semicolon in language, how it's kind of like pause, reflect, take a moment, and then move forward. And I just, for me, he said that like early in the sermon, and it just kind of set the tone for me to really like take time to this time frame. Like, here's an opportunity where I can just sit and listen and be fed, which as speakers, we don't often get that opportunity all the time. So it was just kind of nice to sit and just indulge in what God had.
It was, because even when we're not speaking, we've been part of the sermon writing process. It was the first time in a long time that I was like, I know the scripture that they were assigned, but I have no idea what's about to be taught. It was nice. I thought Tony too, he spent a lot of time on the new covenant and just the difference between the covenant that Joshua and the people lived under and what we live under. And the way he talked about God's unfailing love was just such a powerful reminder of like, yeah, it's not contingent on what I can do, so I shouldn't try to take the law back on. I enjoyed that. Yeah. What about Harrison? Do you have... It didn't tell you you're going to have one for both.
Yeah,
but the Holy Spirit was working the whole Sunday morning.
No, Harrison was great too. I mean, I was actually a little bit jealous of Harrison because the man barely looked at his notes and yet delivered a flawless message. I thought it was so good, just every step of the way of it. I would have to dig deep and unlock deep down inside the truths. Is that what we were saying?
The nuggets.
Yeah, the nuggets.
You have to go back to the secret place.
I have to go back to the secret place.
I think it's an interesting time to be talking about Joshua for me personally. I actually just finished a couple weeks ago reading through Joshua on my own, and I also feel like I'm a little bit in a season like that. We're in the process of launching East. Like, it's just stepping into a new level of leadership for me. I'm so thankful for the covering of Pastor John in this church, but it's still a little bit different from what I've been doing. And Harrison's first point, I don't remember the wording of it, but he talked about how Joshua couldn't just rely on his training, that he had all these years. Like, he was around 40 when they left Egypt. He walked with Moses, like he was constantly training, but God reaffirmed the promise because you need more than just relying on what you've learned. You also need the promise and presence of God and to depend on him in these seasons. Like, that's probably of all the things, because I went back and watched Omar's, for me personally, that I feel like the Holy Spirit was like, yep, you're quick to rely on your education and your experience, but this is the promise that I'm the one who's building this in the East. Which isn't as prophetic as the West, apparently.
And the North.
But for me, like, what he was saying was...
We have our own star, I'm just saying.
It's true. North Star. Man, we're really getting nerdy over directions today.
I'm trying to think of something for East, but all I can think of is SpongeBob is like, East? I thought you said Weast.
I don't know the reference. I'm too
Or
old.
yeast.
I'm just a youth pastor.
Or Beast? I don't know.
We're way off the rails. I love it.
Yeah. So it was actually 2 months ago that Pastor John reached out to these guys and asked them to speak. And at the time, Joshua is what the Lord put on his heart to ask them. And then totally unrelated, like, I don't think he forgot, but just as we went into staff retreat, just the way God works without a lot of planning and coordination, we ended up spending a lot of time last week in Joshua. And so because that's kind of the common ground that we have, like, I want to spend a little time talking about that. And whereas on Sunday we were really in Joshua 1, we heard a little bit of reference to what happens later. In staff retreat, we kind of hung out in Joshua 3-6. So if you want to pause and read Joshua 3-6, but it's basically the story of the Israelites crossing the Jordan River to go into the promised land for the first time. And it was a miraculous thing. Like, I'm not going to get all the details right, but Joshua has the priests go into the water. It says it's harvest season or flood season. The river's as high as it could possibly be, running as fast as it could possibly run. And they step in, and then he clears the water so that there's dry ground. And the priests stand in the middle with the Ark of the Covenant as all the people walk through. And then once everyone's gone through, they go back out. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And really just want to walk through some of our staff devotionals. So before getting in nitty gritty, is there anything in that story of the crossing, just looking at it last week, or even thinking about it in light of yesterday's sermons, that has kind of stuck out to you as you've been pondering and processing all that we said and did, which was drinking from a fire hose at staff retreat?
There was so much, but I almost don't want to like jump
that's
to
right.
the end with it.
You can jump to the end.
Okay, perfect.
We'll just back up if we need to.
We'll just back up. I think we're just, I guess I'm just going to be personal. This past school year, I stepped into the role of becoming our youth pastor over all of our expressions. So we threw a funeral for
Who's
Johnston.
your favorite? I'm just kidding.
East.
Thank you. We have so many youth right now.
They have 0.
We have some rising youth.
Rising youth. They're like 3 months old, but one day. But this is something that was, really just kind of crazy to happen. Wasn't really something that was on my bingo card, but felt like this was where the Lord was leading us as a church. And I think when you consider the river, I really hope I'm not like overstepping when you consider the river that they're crossing, that there's comfort in the known. Mm-hmm. And so I think for me personally in this season, there was so much comfort in what I knew. There was so much comfort at what I learned in school. There was so much comfort in what I had done previously when we were just Center City. There was so much comfort in what I did with this guy. Like there was so much comfort in that. And then having to step out of comfort into uncomfort, but knowing that he said what he said. Mm-hmm. I think that is the thing that gets us out of the river.
Yeah.
The thing that gets us out of the river is, do you know what he said to you? Because so much of what I've had to do in this season on mornings when I wake up and I'm like, does this make sense? Like, is this what we're supposed to be doing, Lord? It's like, but do you know what I said to you? Do you know at the end of the day, you are accountable to what he says to you? And so much of when I'm thinking about the river, I'm like, do they truly believe that he said that there's a promised land that lies ahead? Because those that stayed in the river, it's like, but you knew he had everything else for you. Like, and I've just made the decision where it's like, if he's over there, that's where I want to be. Mm-hmm. No matter how comfortable and I don't like conflict and I don't like, I don't want to be the girl that messes it up. But if he's over there, that's where I want to go. So that's really been kind of like the theme of this staff retreat yesterday and really even this summer for me personally. So.
Yeah. Can I ask a follow-up question?
Please.
I feel like I go here a lot on the podcast, but it's because this question comes up over and over again. What would you say to someone who's not sure what God said to them? Like, because what you said is, do you know what he said to you? Like, yeah. And sometimes it's the promises that are in scripture and we know because they're in scripture and we can claim them. But there are times that he speaks to us words of direction, promises for our future that are just for us. And we can't, they don't contradict scripture, but they're not in scripture. How would you encourage someone to weigh, like, is this what God said to me?
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with a friend about this the other day because she just stepped into one of the coolest things ever. One of my friends at West just took a big leap, and that was really cool to watch. And she called me and she was like, how do you know? And I was like, personally, if it doesn't contradict scripture, I write it in the notes app of my phone. And I read it and read it and read it and read it and I test it and I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And when I test it, I don't mean if I don't get backlash, then it's good, because whether it's from God or if it's not God, you're still going to get pushback. Like pushback is still going to happen. Sometimes it requires fasting. That's a big thing for me. John has challenged us as a staff of our rhythms of fasting, but I have challenged myself personally on my rhythms of fasting and making sure that I'm spending time to be like, all right, this is what I think you said, but I want to make sure, because I have been in a situation before where I thought the Lord said something to me when I was in college and it wasn't. And I got into a really rough place. So it can happen. The Lord still had grace for me to get me out of it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing that I would want somebody to know is test it, pray about it, fast on it. I do also seek wise counsel. There's not a time when I don't seek my husband and what he's thinking. There's not a time when I don't pick up the phone and call a mentor. And I'm like, this is what I feel like the Lord is saying. This is what I think fits for the season. But also knowing he's got me, if not. Mm-hmm. Like he's so big, right? There's so much grace to him. I think if the Lord is telling you to do something, like go after it. Mm-hmm. I wish I could share her story because I'm so excited, but maybe I will one day about our mutual friend that.
Yeah, maybe she will.
Yeah, maybe she will.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Do you guys have anything else to add to that of just like how you know or test that something is from the Lord, that he has said something to you?
No, I mean, I think Emma really kind of really covered all the bases with it. I know a lot of times for me personally, there also is there's a logical thing to it. I can't think of too many times in my life, not saying there's not a risk, but I can look at something I felt like God's called and it logically makes sense.
That's crazy. I feel like I'm the opposite.
Yeah,
I might not know
like,
how.
Yeah.
I might not, well, understand. I might not know how it's going to work. I might not understand the steps, but I look at it and go, "Oh, I see this. He's calling me here, so that means this, then this, and this." Doesn't mean I know what's going on. Doesn't mean I know the next steps, but there's a logical sense to it.
Mm-hmm. Can you like look back to your past and see like, oh, this is what you were preparing all the way?
100%.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But I mean, it's crazy. There was no logic in moving to Asia. Like that's what I first thought was like, oh, but I can look back and then see, oh, here's how you were weaving this together.
Weave and woven.
Yeah, weave and woven.
Women's
Tapestry.
retreat. Do you throw a Bible on the ground and ask the Lord to give you a verse and spin in like 5 circles and then? Because I think that's what some people think. Yeah. That's how actually. When I used to
ask God to give me a word and then just open the Bible. Yeah. And in God's grace, sometimes He did speak through that. I don't think that's the best practice.
Yeah, that did not feed my kooky side. That was not wise for me to do. But you don't do that?
I aim for the number 7 usually in whatever I do. So whether it's spin, no, I don't do anything.
I was really trying to I was trying to be as respectful as I could.
No, I mean I put it before the Lord and I continually revisit it. If it's still weighing on my heart, I'll explore it. That's kind of my faith process, actively engaging it. And if if I'm not shaking it, then I just step into it.
That's true. I feel like I start losing sleep because one of the way the Lord brought me to Center City required quitting a job without any idea of what the next season would look like. So I waited for 3 months, but in that 3 months, like it just got stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah. No, I was sharing a story earlier with our staff about how materialistic I am, and something the Lord was asking me to do. And it was like all consuming. Like it was one of those things where I was like, if I don't do it, would I feel like I was being disobedient? Mm-hmm. And your mom once told me, delayed obedience is still disobedience. And I think about that all the time. And he requires obedience. He desires obedience over sacrifice. And that that's a big one.
How many times did she serve you up with that line?
Oh my gosh. Not as
delayed obedience.
Not as much.
Minute, Mom, I'll
she
clean my
was
room
actually
later.
not the disciplinarian of the 2 parents. The thing she always told me was, if you're bored, you must be boring, because you're in your own company. And we were constantly like, Mom, I'm bored. that has nothing to do with anything. But that's like, if you were to ask me, what's one of the things your mom like ingrained in you? And now if ever I'm bored, I'm just like, this on me.
This is my fault.
Yeah. That was such a good, I know we took a rabbit trail.
Yeah,
but,
we took a long rabbit trail.
But that's kind of what I wanted is like you personally, as we've looked at this story again, what is coming up as you're thinking about it. And you don't have to have an answer. You're just less spiritual than the people who do.
Yeah.
John's going to be like, never again am I. We're just spicy today. We just had
Technically,
lunch.
we didn't get a chance to answer, but that's okay.
My answer was
you
good enough.
still have a chance right now. Like I'm literally.
What did I answer then a second ago? Did I
That was
answer?
different, not the original question.
What
Well,
was the
you
original
can't
Your
look at her
original
questions.
was when you look at the story of Joshua crossing the river.
Yeah.
What is it that God is kind of speaking to you through that story? So Emma
I'm
answered,
gonna
and then we
go
took a rabbit
with
trail.
What is faith and obedience?
Ooh.
I feel like everything that wraps up in his story is all about faith and obedience. And those two things, as strong as they are, they could be terrifying for us. To walk in faith, there are exciting moments. I wouldn't doubt there were moments to him that was exciting. But then to feel the weight of what that faith would require would be petrifying. And then the obedience of he puts the word out, like he has to literally tell them what to do in order for it to happen. And that's the obedience of the faith in action. So even that, I would imagine how he felt declaring that message. You need to walk into that river until
I've
you
never
bring
thought about
that thing
Joshua
in there.
from that perspective.
Because he's the one instructing.
Yeah.
What did the people look like the moment he uttered those words to him?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what?
good.
You wanted to do what?
Yeah.
But they did it.
He has to speak with some type of authority. And yeah, to witness what he did. And he comes from a history where I wouldn't doubt Big Brother. We saw what he did. And he gets to kind of the parting of the sea. He gets to experience that too, which is incredible. But again, it doesn't come without the faith and obedience. So I think that's what I would run with.
Yeah. Tying a little bit with them is that whole part that we discussed a lot about, when they're on this side of the river, they were nomads. That's how they had to survive. They had to do those types of things to survive. But yet, as they're crossing over into the promised land, now they need farmers. They need, whatever that land requires. So that concept that whole time they had to fully let go of what was and embrace what is at that point. I don't know how much.
Yeah, we are going to get into some of those.
That was the part that really, for me, that really kind of stuck out.
Yeah.
Mine kind of lines up a little bit with yours. I just keep thinking of God's goodness. Like, he does ask us to do crazy things. Like, I identify more with the priests in the passage. That's why I've never thought about it from Joshua's perspective. But they had to step their feet into a rushing river that was above its banks. But he didn't ask him to do it. Like, yes, it was different from the crossing of the Red Sea.
Yeah.
But these were people, Joshua was there and crossed through the Red Sea on dry ground. They'd heard that story. So it's also like in his goodness, they knew what he could do. And then he asked him to have more faith this time. And like, now I'm not going to have you put your arms up so that the water passes or divides, whatever the word is there. And like, now I'm going to ask you to step into it while it's still rushing. But something about that like crazy faith that it took mixed with his faithfulness to bring them to that place where like they knew better than anyone what he could do.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were like, what's going to happen to us? They're like, oh, well, he's parted the water before. He's just so good, even when he's asking us to do really hard things.
Yeah.
Just keep thinking about it. So we went through that story. And one of the things that happens while they're in the middle is Joshua has one person from every tribe gather a stone as a memorial of God's faithfulness. And they stack them, I believe, in the middle of the river. And then the Bible says they're still there to this day. And in my mind, I'm always like, but didn't the water come over them? So I guess if you want to swim down, I don't know how that works. But we spent some time talking about what some of our memorial stones are. And so I'm going to ask that question here too. It doesn't have to be, I cried every night of staff retreat. So it doesn't have to be as personal for all of YouTube as it was that night. But even in just the past season, what are some of the memorial stones that you would take in place of God's faithfulness in the past season?
Yeah. I'm gonna run with the one that I ran with, just because it's still my vote. I think looking at all that God has done, I said Jehovah Jireh, the fact that He was our provider. A lot of things have transpired since we started this journey, since I started the journey, even coming on board full time, which I hadn't been full time in the ministry for.
You're almost at a year
15,
now.
16
Have you passed
years.
a year?
Yeah, it's been a year already.
Woo!
Thanks, guys, for the lunch.
We did not celebrate.
And
We thought you were
I
fasting that day.
celebrated between me and the Lord.
Good.
So to go from working like in fields that you know will continue to be there to stepping into a ministry where it's like, well, what if this thing tanks? To see Him provide over the past year, not knowing financially how that would hit us, not even knowing what ministry would even feel like. Would I like this? Would I hate it? Would I feel like I can contribute, or will I feel like just robotic and whatever you want, your wish is my command? Like, I've seen different sides of ministry. So to see the Lord provide financially, to see the Lord move and provide to where there's contentment, there is purpose for me, there is life that I find value, to see Him provide for the different positions we needed, the things we needed for the building, the things we needed for the band. Like, the Lord has continually provided, and it's just a reminder that He will continue to do so. And we know that, but I still think when there's a need, there is like a feeling in us like, guys, we really got to pray because we really need this, as if, man, He hasn't been faithful every step of the way.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the stones that I would cling to even in the next season as we start the third expression and we figure out what does this mean for all of us and manpower and how do we kind of cast this vision and run with it. The Lord will provide what we need when we need it. So
I'll change my stone because we kind of had the same stone. But
A lot of people said provision, but
It's
that's a
true.
good,
this is a
It
good
is.
one. Yeah.
yeah.
And it still really even kind of fits into that a little bit, but just kind of over the past year and a half, just knowing that so much change was happening and going on and dealing with that fear and worry, like, okay, what if this, like Coach saying, what if this doesn't work? What if the people don't like this? What if this changes too much or that changes too much? And, like, what if we change the colors in the lobby? Like, or what, like, I think as pastors, we have to kind of really kind of sit through some of that, but knowing that God's been faithful that whole way and seeing the health and growth that's happened out of that. And, along the way there's some people that have unfortunately have chosen to go elsewhere, but yet at the same time, God's just drawing in more and more and more. And I just can't help but be excited for the health in that, even the people that have left, they found great places to go and connect and be involved. And in the end, the kingdom is still growing.
Yeah.
So that would be the stone that I would probably take with me right now, is that health, that in that growth.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So in the west part of Charlotte, all over Charlotte, but specifically the Moorhead location, is Rhino Market, which is it has become a beacon to our family. Every single Wednesday, I have very good intentions of meal prepping and bringing my own dinner, and I never do. Never. I always pretend, but at this point, Joey just knows it's all a facade. We always get Rhino Market on. We had always gotten Rhino Market on Wednesday nights. We'd order your kids' pizza, but I would get Rhino Market, and I would just have this like stack of Rhino Market torta on spinach wrap receipts, and it just kind of marked my Wednesdays, and it was always just kind of a sign of like, we're doing life out here in West Charlotte and we're a part of what's going on in West Charlotte. And this is like, our youth team started eating it. I put your girls onto them. It was just kind of symbolic of what God was doing in the youth department at West specifically. And it was really sweet. And it also symbolized a lot of the busyness, like not having the time to meal prep and not a lot of time to in between. Not that things aren't busy or anything, but in this new season that our family is stepping into of me being the youth pastor over both expressions. Some Wednesdays I'm at North, some Wednesdays I'm at West. One Wednesday I'll be at East. And us starting chapels on Sunday, there really isn't, I don't really get to go to Rhino as much, but it just represents the sweetness of that season, and what we built with the team at West built, and how, 5 years I was the youth pastor of One Soul church, One Soul youth group, and now to have the incredible opportunity to pastor all of these crazy kids from both West, North, and East, and hopefully one day to the ends of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County. It just has represented, to me, the 18-year-old girl that walked into family and youth pastoring to the meeting that we were all in my first day of freshman year. I'm looking around the room, and it's me and like 2 other girls at a room full of guys. And this is not the time for that type of conversation, but just that is what I wanted more than anything. I wanted to be a youth pastor. I did not care about class. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted to be a youth pastor. So that's what I'm carrying over, that I am living in
I love
18-year-old me's dreams. Every Rhino sandwich at a time. So
their torta is the best sandwich.
It's the best. The ham, though, is also good. So maybe people take our recommendations from this.
It's true.
Is it like Subway?
Goodbye.
No, because
Just
it's
like
really
it
fresh.
And you're out.
I think like you, like I made a list of things, and they were all like actual objects from the season. And one of them is a crock pot. And I actually like, like really a lot of this actually comes from learning from Jess, because for a season at Center City, Jess, who will tell you right away, she can cook, but that's not like what she loves. Yeah. But every Wednesday night, she would cook for the entire church in her home, like not in an industrial kitchen, and then bring it and like keep it warm for everyone
After she
to
would
eat
get
dinner.
off of work.
Yeah.
Teaching other people's children.
Yeah. And so like as we started this process of launching East, I really felt like the Lord was challenging me to have a similar mentality of look what I can do with what's available, not with what's the best of the best. And so forever I was like, God, I live in a condo. Just give me someone with a house that can host these dinners that I want to start having. That's all I need. Just one person with a house. That's it. And it really over and over again felt like he was coming back and saying, well, what are you doing with the space that I've already given you? So I opened up my 700 square foot condo, and we don't have enough chairs for everybody. And I cook for all of them, and I do it in my crock pot. And so it's just this picture of like, he'll take our willingness, even when it's not that great. And the food's fine. Even though yesterday I bought all the hamburger meat. I'm doing tacos Tuesday night. By the time this drops, I will have done tacos last night. And I put them in the crock pot, added all the spices and everything, put it on high, set my 2-hour timer, came back, and I had never plugged in the crock pot.
Oh, no.
So I have to go buy
Done that one before.
More meat.
More meat today to do the same thing again today so we can eat it tomorrow. But I will not be giving food poisoning to these.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
What is
2 hours?
Side note, I kept it for myself, but I'm not going to feed it to other people.
That's fair.
So if these 2 are out on Sunday, it's because they have food poisoning.
I have more to share. But it was just for it not to be cooked at all and to have sat out for 2 hours. It was a little too far to serve it to other people. But even in that, like I think sometimes when we're in what we feel like are significant spiritual moments and we make a mistake, we feel this weight of, oh my gosh, I've disappointed God. But when it's something like this, like I'm not taking it personally, but I'm still seeing like, oh, I made a mistake. Gonna fix it, and we're gonna keep moving on, and God is still good, and like we're still moving in the right direction. So just kind of all of that.
Yeah.
The crock pot would be the stone that I would put, among other things. I'm also gonna collage all of my items when I get some time. Which will be like
I was about to say
January,
so like Christmas
2028. So we kind of, our first night of staff retreat was talking about these. And then John kind of led us through that process of when the stones were placed, then everyone crossed to the other side. And one of the phrases he used a lot, he even used it in the close of the 11 o'clock service on Sunday at North, was you cannot fully step into the next season with one foot in the river. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of what you guys were alluding to as we jumped in to what the Lord was kind of speaking to you through this story. What does that phrase mean? Like, just kind of unpack a little bit what he's saying when he says you can't fully step into the next season with a foot in the river.
I mean, to me, and I do have a tendency a lot to be kind of all this or all that. It's an all in. Like, you can't move forward in what God has for you if you're still trying to hold on to, especially if it's the things that are holding you back in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I think that was that mindset. Again, going back to that, on this side of the river, they had a whole different set of things that they had to do and people they had to be. Now you're moving into this new space, and it requires something totally different. You can't be that person anymore. So even just leaving that one toe in the water is pulling you back to what you were instead of putting you forward to what you're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
What are some of the temptations to still stay with one foot in the river?
I want to answer your first question, and then this one.
Absolutely.
I think a lot about the verse where it's about like lukewarm. Like, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. The Lord requires all of us, like our everything about us when it comes to how we believe in Him. Like, He calls us to. He says He would rather us be freezing cold than be lukewarm in our faith with Him, and I think that is the same thing when it comes to the things that He has for us. Like, you cannot experience, how could you experience the fullness of something if you are still immersed in something else? Like I don't know. It's just, we are human. Like, so at the end of the day, like, we're explaining these concepts, and at the end of the day at this table, we're still human. And so we have likes and dislikes and preferences and we have rhythms and so to say outside of this river, everything is going to be different, that's scary. For someone like me, I think the first thing is like, oh, that's so exciting. Like, I remember growing up, my dad was in the military, and every couple of years, my parents would sit us down and be like, all right, you're moving to a new state. One time we were moving from Georgia to Indiana, and I misheard him, and I thought we were moving to India. And so I had gone to school the next day and telling all my friends, like, I'm going to move across the country. I'm going to like experience this new culture. Like, I am the type of person that at first it's like all excitement. Like, it's all new, like burn the past down. Like, who needs it? And then later I'm like, wait, we really, like, when I see the moving boxes, I'm like, I didn't move to India. I moved to Indiana, by the way. Figured that one out. But
before or after you got there?
I think my mom was like, what are you doing? Like, you know, it was like in 5th grade. She's like, no. It hits me in waves sometimes of like, all of that excitement is true, but I can't ignore all of this. And like, sometimes I am like how I am wired, like my personality likes to like avoid pain and stuff like that. And so sometimes I have to force myself to deal with Lisa Turkhurst talks about like giving like mini funerals to seasons, and like this season is over. Doesn't mean this season was bad. I think that's something like a lot of us need to like, just because the season has ended and we're moving from it doesn't mean that it was bad. Yeah. Like, doesn't mean, it just means what He has is better. And that's hard because we do like to put things in bad or in good. And so much of it has been me doing a process of, it wasn't that me being the youth pastor of One Expression was bad, because it was gorgeous. It just means this next season, what he has is better. Doesn't mean that, you know, I could talk forever, but yeah, I think it's just dealing with all of it, but also knowing He's not God. He's not man that He would be a liar. So it is better if He says it's better.
Yeah.
Despite how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So
easy to say and hard
to do. We might be crawling out of the river, but we're coming out of that river. That's kind of how I feel. Like I might be crawling, I might be doggy paddling, but if I might be kicking and screaming, but I want to get out of the river if he said it was better.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like we missed the inside joke. Did we miss the inside joke?
No.
I mean, the way you guys looked at each other and on cue was like,
me and him
it's
or
hard
me
to
and
do.
her?
No,
You
we
and
just
her.
think similar.
We're just,
I don't know.
yeah.
There's no inside joke that you missed.
Yeah, you're just, I'm sorry you're not on our wavelength.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe
Did
you
get
aren't
that
so
vibe?
mean to me all the time.
I'm just
like-
happy to be here.
I was like, wait, did I miss his joke? Was I
Maybe you
supposed to
zoned
jump
out
in?
for a second.
I don't know. Cool.
Yeah. I didn't think about this before right now, but if they had to have a miracle to cross the river, there was a finality to being out of it. Like that meant that there's no turning back. And I think
Yeah.
of that old hymn, I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning
No
back,
turning
no
back.
turning back. It's one of my favorite hymns, and it also makes me cry a lot because, like, I'm not going to cry on this podcast. Now that I've said that, I probably will. But that idea, like, there was no turning back for them, because if God was leading them through, it's not like he was going to be like, oh, you changed your mind, let me part the waters again for you to go backwards.
That's going to make me cry.
Well, here we go. But yeah, just that idea that they're like, but it's also not their choice. And I think sometimes we think we have a choice, but the season's changing whether we're on board or not. Like, so I would rather be on board. I've actually talked to a couple people about that as we move towards east, and there have been a couple people from west and north who have chosen to come on the launch team, and it comes with a sacrifice of
Yeah.
community that they know. Not that we're still the same church. We're going to do groups together and retreats together, but Sundays are going to look different. Where I'm asking them to invest in building community is different. But one of the things we've talked about is like the constant is change. Like things are going to change in the next season, whether you stay or go. But don't you want to be where God's leading you? Like,
Yeah.
don't you want to be obedient to what he's having for you, because it is the best thing for you? And that's for those people. Like for some people, it's been the same challenge the other way around. Like, no, things are going to change, but you're called to this expression for this season. And don't you want to just put your feet down and be rooted and develop there? So it's not the actual like move that's the difference. It's just, are you being obedient? Because that change is happening no matter what. There's no turning back no matter what.
Yeah.
But sometimes we think we have the choice to turn back, and we don't. Like that river was going to be back to flooded.
Yeah, you would have had to, you could have drowned. Turning around, you could have drowned. Like, I think we romanticize the past a lot, and we don't realize that if we stayed or we try to turn back, like without his blessing, like they could have drowned. Turning around, I don't know what was in
Most
the river.
likely would have drowned.
They most likely,
Not even could have. Most
likely.
You jump back in that river. It's,
Yeah.
it's fast moving. It's that time frame.
Yeah.
You're not making it back across.
I think of a new hymn that Gen Z has come out with recently.
Is it Lace Up Your Boots?
Yes.
I've never even heard it.
It's I have decided to follow Jesus. Anywhere he leads us, that is where we will go. Everybody makes fun of this song. You can listen to it on your own time. That is an anthem. Like, especially to be in a room full of teenagers singing that song boldly. I have decided to follow Jesus. Anywhere he leads me, that's where we will go. So lace up your boots and pick up your backpack. To me, it's a picture of like, this world is not my home. This is not where I get my comfort. So much of us find our comfort in the known, what we know, what looks, how it feels, how it looks. I don't know. You've done a lot of, when I think about your family, John, and when I think about you, you have done so many things like counterculture. Like even when everybody was looking at your family and was like, this makes the logical choice. Why are you choosing to do X, Y, and Z? Your family stands as like a representation to me of what it looks like to follow him no matter what other people are saying. I don't know if you feel like that, but from Joey and I watching the way that you and Marilyn lead your family and for your story of getting here, it really does make me think about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who that version of me would be if I don't feel like I'm walking in faith and obedience, like I had seasons where when I was trying to figure out what I was supposed to do, the frustrating part of me was like, man, squash this. I'm done. Like I'll land a regular job, 9 to 5, and just keep it like that. And what scares me most is I don't know what that person would be like. What kind of man would that guy be if he wasn't walking in faith or trying to walk in faith and obedience? And it genuinely does, like, not only concern me, but kind of scare me to think about what I would be outside of that. So I am fortunate where my faith does, in many ways, define who I am. And that sounds super spiritual, but no, it's just like I acknowledge my dependence of him, that I don't want to move unless I know, like, he's doing it. As exciting as that idea is, if I don't feel him with me, I wouldn't move unless I know it's him. So I am fortunate where I was able to kind of get it right at times when I felt he was telling us to move, even though there were certain seasons where I thought, oh man, I really messed this up for everybody.
And during a pandemic, like,
yeah, it seemed crazier. It seemed even crazier then. But then I look at all these guys in the scripture, and I'm like, bro, the things that I'm doing doesn't even hit the scale to what they were asked to do. So if I can just walk faithful and obedient, then I'm good. Yeah. And I'm fortunate that we have been able to, and to even see my kids taking their own steps in stride in that is just encouraging to me, because they're in good hands then if they continue to practice that.
Yeah, I struggle sometimes when people say it never gets easier. I think what God asks us to do can still be really hard. But kind of to your point, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do think it gets easier in the sense that, like, no, I've been through so much where I've seen God's faithfulness. Yeah. I'm not entertaining the temptation of saying no in the way that I may have 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So again, like, I'm not saying people who say that are wrong, but sometimes I wrestle a little bit when I hear that statement. Yeah. Because it's still hard things that God asks us to do. And I think that's the point of it, is like, there's still going to be suffering. There's still going to be stuff attached to it. But I do think it's like you're flexing your faith muscle, and it gets easier to be like, no, I trust you. I'm going to do that.
I think the word I would naturally use is it becomes more natural.
Yeah,
for me.
I like that.
It does become more natural. The weight, I might still really feel it, but it's become more of ingrained. That works. I run with that. Ingrained in just my DNA. So faith and it's a marker.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good word for it, though. Because
which one, the inbred?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, we're gonna have to censor this podcast now because of you two.
No, the natural. It becomes more natural because, even to your point, Ash, I think of some big decisions that we've had to make. We've been doing certain things for so many years, and God's asking you to step out on something. My faithfulness in Him, like, it's not wavered. Like, I understand, I'm on board, but now I'm also sitting there going, holy cow, this means I'm leaving this and I'm dropping that. I think it was Harrison yesterday was literally talking about, he's, at least in my case, your case, the same, where God's asking you, like, leave everything and step into this new world. And I walked away from much higher paying job with insane benefits and a wonderful work schedule and great people around me, like all these things. But yet when he called us elsewhere, it wasn't that the decision was easier, but yet there was also something inside of me that said, okay, this is like, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, there was a season where this past, actually, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, I was 5 months postpartum and moved in with my in-laws. I was still, I don't even know if people know this, I was like part-time. Like, and me and Joey looked at each other and we were just like, I think we've got to stop playing it small with what the Lord has said. Like, if this is what He has called our family to, then He is faithful to foresee it. And so we made the decision for me to pursue youth ministry fully. And we moved in with his parents. And my in-laws are angels. because to have a 5-month postpartum woman in your house, I'm sure is
That
not
also means
wonderful.
a 5-month-old baby.
A 5-month-old baby that we sleep trained 1,000,000 times. It never gets easier, but to Ashley's point, like, because I've done things before, it was like we would go to bed at night and be like, but he's going to make a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen him do it before. So it was like that season could have been 5 years. It could have been 5 months. It ended up being almost a year. But it was like I went to bed every night. Yeah, I was frustrated and that things were the way that they were at times. But there was also still gifts in that season. Drew has a relationship with her grandparents like none other because of that season. And they got to treasure her. But I knew that he would make a way because that's who he is. Mm-hmm. And so never gets easier. And he might ask you to continually to do even harder things.
The cost is still high.
The cost is still so high.
But you don't wrestle as much maybe or like.
Yeah, but it would have been, but to your point, I think it would have cost more for me to stay where I was at, like in the long run. Had I continued to stay in nonprofit, had I continued to just do youth ministry for 10 hours a week, like the youth wouldn't be where I believe where we got it to. I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. In closing.
Yes. So like we've kind of, we're still following the path of Joshua, but we didn't actually address the, what are some things that can make it tempting to look back. And we can still use the picture of putting a foot in the river, but it can also just be trying to go back to a past season. What are some of those things that you think, and it can be broader, not just you personally, but that can tend to kind of draw us backwards or draw us to look back. All of a sudden I'm thinking of Lot's wife again, back to that Family Bones series and looking back and turning into a pillar of salt. Yeah.
I think comfort is always a big one. When you're familiar with, how things used to be done, oftentimes that familiarity becomes one of our greatest challenges because when we have a good idea in front of us or we feel God is moving us in a different direction, we'll make statements like, well, that's not how we've done it. Or we always used to do it like this. And you don't make room for God to do something new in your life and in those around you. So I think comfort, familiarity is a big one. Fear is another one. Fear of the unknown. I feel like what we got is working. Why risk it? Why chance it? So I think those are just a few of the things that cause us to keep our foot in the water, trying to be, meet you halfway out. I'll put, 1 foot out here to appease you. But at the moment I remove this foot from this water, then I have to be all in. So I just think there are a lot of things that can cause us to stay where we're at.
I think that phrase, the enemy is better than the enemy you don't know. So, I mean, you hit it up. It's the fear, it's comfort, it's what we know, that's what keeps us on the other side of the river. We know what was there. We may not have liked it. We may have hated it. It may have been terrible and horrible, but we knew what it was. And we don't know what's next.
Yeah. I mean, that's manna, right? That's the whole, them in the wilderness for forever. And I want to go back to Egypt. Weren't you guys slaves in Egypt? And weren't you being treated terribly? But we were still eating. We love to romanticize the past. We love to make things seem like they were better. And I do think that if you're not quick, you can allow the enemy to twist things. That's why it's so important to capture thoughts and to be like, no, that's actually not true. And that's not actually how it was. And maybe this is the way that we've always done it, but it's actually not working. And this way might actually be better. But I can't not think about for all of human history, we've done this.
Yeah.
And
I think you hit the nail on the head a little bit ago when you said it doesn't mean that the last season was bad. And I think sometimes we think if we're making a change, we are also casting judgment over what was before, where sometimes it's just you're growing into a new season. Think about actual physical growth. Yeah. The same clothes that Drew wore when she was 5 months old.
We're so cute.
If you were trying to keep her in those clothes right now, we'd be like, Emma. Yeah. What are you doing?
No, that's such a good picture because it's we struggle so much of like, we get defensive and we get like, well, what's wrong with what I'm doing? But it's like, no, they just don't fit anymore.
Yeah, it was the right thing for that season, but that season is changing. And so I think that's one I can be particularly tempted by, is like, I don't want to dishonor the past. And I don't want to dishonor the people who invested in making that season what it was. Yeah. But we're growing.
Yeah.
Like,
I keep thinking, and this is a little spicy and I don't mean it to be, but that phrase, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's not from the Bible. Like, that's not, like, we should always want to be improving things and trying things. And at the end of the day, like, we should just always be trying to follow his voice. So if he's telling us to do X, Y, and Z, even if what we're in is gorgeous, that's still what he said.
yeah.
So
I think that's the important part is we've got to be following his voice in this, because there is a struggle in that to go, man, why are we changing something that is working? We got to know that we're hearing from his voice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might not be hearing from his voice, and we are changing something that's working because we're hearing the wrong voice.
yeah.
So I think that just leads back to that importance of really, truly understanding what he's called us to.
Look at us making a full circle. How do we know what the Lord? Wow.
Podcast is better without John.
Wow.
Did you say spicy?
I meant John.
Like, hot take.
Yeah.
What?
People use it in multiple ways. And let's just
Spicy.
leave it at that.
I'm sorry. Was I wrong? I'm sorry.
No,
It's okay.
was
I
just
already
curious.
used it earlier.
You guys are going to make me.
I was
like,
just curious what you said. I wanted to make sure I heard you right.
I'm going to ask Dom
Spicy.
to cut me saying that out.
Caliente.
I said it earlier. So
Yeah,
you're fine.
I people say all the time,
Right.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I
not
do remember
biblical.
I do remember that statement. Yeah.
Yeah. And all of us are broken. That's why we have Jesus.
Well,
Hope for
we
the
are
broken.
broken, so he does fix us.
There's no such
Yeah.
thing as it ain't broke.
Because
I don't know.
everything's broken.
Maybe you should cut this whole podcast, Tom.
No, I said some okay things, and
I
so
know.
did you. So
We're
can
going to keep
them.
it.
I'm out.
I do want to ask, like, within reason, not giving away too much. I can't remember if there are any, I don't think there are any big surprises that we put on the calendar for the next year as we like processed and discerned. But as we step into the next season, what are you most excited about? Like, what do you sense that the Lord is leading in your area of ministry for this church?
Oh gosh. Well, it's not particularly my area of ministry, but I am so excited for Rest and Refresh. Like,
That's the women's retreat.
the women's retreat.
As of the recording, we have 2 spots.
We have
still.
2 spots left. I have always approached women's ministry as something that was cheesy, like just for all intents and purposes. Like, I've been a part of churches where I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. I have walked away every single time I've been and just been like, that truly was exactly what it says. Like, I was rested, I was refreshed. I'm so excited for it. I'm also excited for youth conference. Youth conference is coming up for our students. And it's always just an incredible time. They still have that like buzz from camp. And so they're like, can we do a winter retreat? Can we do this? I'm like, we're going to a conference. So it's not as long as camp. It's just an overnight where they get to gather together with our Assemblies of God network here in North Carolina and listen to some incredible speakers and meet up with friends. But it's just a good season of youth ministry. I was talking to Anita and Walter, our youth directors here at North, and Omar and Coralise over at West.
Goatmar.
It's Goatmar. And Coralise. But just the leadership that the youth ministry team has on top, like Mike and Audie are already dreaming about what fine arts is going to look like. The school year, just in general, is just super exciting. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Rest and Refresh for sure. So I don't know if I stole yours.
No,
but-
you didn't.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm excited for that too, but that wasn't what I was thinking.
Wonderful. What do you? Oh,
I like the thought that we were putting together that, like, if we look at this year, we had so many people have started showing up kind of in the off semester portions of our groups and just kind of looking forward to the calendar next year and going, okay, what can we do when people are showing up in those times where we don't have a full slate of groups going, and trying to create and figure out what needs to happen in those time frames. Probably most excited for that part of it.
that's cool.
Did I take yours?
No.
Okay, good.
You guys looked at each other and smiled. Do you have an inside
Do
joke?
you guys have an inside joke we don't know about?
Yes.
Too many.
Do only you know about it?
Yes. There's all sorts of inside jokes.
It's funny. I'm not a big dreamer guy. I've never really been. I find contentment in being where the Father wants me to be and going where He tells me to go. Looking back on this past year and seeing where we are now, it is encouraging to see the health and the growth that has taken place. So I think I just look forward to seeing what we'll look like next year. There is momentum that we see all across the board in life. So I look forward to seeing what life looks like for us at the end of 2026 and what God has been doing.
I think about that too, especially this series we've been in, The Wait. Like God always shows up, but He's showing up differently on Sunday mornings. Like there's a new hunger and thirst for Him, I think, that is giving Him the freedom to just, I don't want to say be more present, but just, I don't know. It's different. I kind of like you. I'm like, I don't know what that's going to look like a year from now, but I'm so excited that our team feels it, that we're making space for it. Like we've just decided to extend the series. Just kind of seeing that to me is the new season, like what's going on there. So I'm kind of with you. I didn't have like a specific thing, but just like God is moving, and I feel like we're doing everything we can to be those people who are like, no, we're on the other side of the river with you, to see what it looks like.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I wrote that down in my journal yesterday. I was like, normally when I walk into new seasons, I kind of know what He's doing, what like there's normally a theme. And I literally was like, I don't really know what to expect, but I'm just expectant. That's really cool that's what He's doing in you guys too.
Yeah. Well, now that we've said we don't know exactly what to expect, what can we expect on Sunday?
So this upcoming Sunday,
you can expect a good sermon.
I knew you wouldn't be able to stay away.
You guys done talking about the river?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Why do you got something you want to add?
No, just get out the river.
Yeah.
What are you doing this Sunday?
Yeah. I thought I heard some whispering. I was like, why is Dom whispering so loud? So this week we move further into the wait, and what I like about it is, again, it was not a direction that we were even planning for, but it seems like we're now shifting to, we've seen how the Spirit has been moving, and where we're going now is almost addressing the present tense, how the Spirit is moving now. And this Sunday we will be speaking about the fruit of the Spirit. That fruit is an indication that He is still producing things today in our lives, and the things that He produced is for a purpose. It's not just so we can say, I got this and I got this and I got this. Every fruit that He produces is to do something else. It is a ramification for every fruit that He's given us. So we kind of explore what that looks like for our lives and just being people that are filled with His Spirit, that live life by the Spirit. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So we will be in person at 9 and 11 at both of our expressions. Make plans to be there because like we said, you can watch online. If you're out of town or you're not able to show up, that's better than nothing. But if you're not in the room, you're missing something. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a pastor and I want to see you on Sunday. So we'll be 9 and 11 at North and West. We'll see you then.